Growth. It isn't pretty. It isn't painless. Imagine a seed buried deep beneath the soil. It's cold, dark, and suffocating. The weight of the earth presses down on it, leaving no room to breathe. It could stay there, safe and hidden. But to grow? To rise toward the sun? It must break itself apart, pushing through the dirt, clawing its way to the surface. Now, think about your life. How often have you felt buried, overwhelmed by the weight of expectations, failures, and fears? Maybe right now, you're in that darkness, questioning if you'll ever see the light again. You tell yourself, maybe this is where I'm meant to stay. But let me ask you something. What if this pain isn't a punishment? What if it's preparation? Every wound, every scar, every sleepless night, it's not the end. It's the beginning. The seed doesn't stay buried forever, and neither will you. This is where the journey starts, not in comfort, but in discomfort. Not in ease, but in struggle. Because growth, it isn't comfortable, but it's worth it. Have you ever felt like life has you cornered? Like no matter how hard you try, you're stuck in a loop of failure and frustration? Maybe it's the job you didn't get after countless interviews, or the relationship that shattered when you thought it was unbreakable. Perhaps it's the dream you once chased, now buried under the weight of reality. Each setback feels like a punch to the gut, leaving you breathless and questioning your worth. You wake up every morning, staring at the ceiling, wondering if today will be any different. But the fear of failing again keeps you in bed just a little longer. You tell yourself, why bother? It's always the same. A silent whisper tells you, no, this is the best time to fail. You've heard the whispers of doubt, some from others, but most from yourself. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. This is all there is for you. The world feels like it's moving forward, leaving you behind. Everyone else seems to have it figured out, while you're fighting just to keep your head above water. You mask the pain with a smile, hoping no one notices how close you are to breaking. This is the struggle. It's raw, it's relentless, and it's real. But here's the thing. This moment, no matter how painful, is not the end. It's the foundation. Every great story starts in the depth of despair. Every hero faces their darkest hour before the breakthrough. Right now, you're in yours. And as heavy as it feels, this struggle is shaping you. There's a moment in the struggle when the weight becomes unbearable. It's not just about what's happening around you. It's what's happening inside you. Dude, you feel it in your chest, that heavy knot of anxiety, choking your breath. Your mind races, replaying every mistake, every failure, every what if that haunts you. It whispers, you're wasting your time. You're not strong enough. You're not capable. And slowly, you start to believe it. Isolation creeps in. You look at others and wonder, why does it seem so easy for them? You scroll through endless pictures of success, happiness, and perfection, and each one feels like a reminder of what you're not. The world around you is vibrant and full of life, but you're stuck in grayscale, barely holding on. The late night unceasing. It's too much pain. The sun using to come through the clouds. It's too much pain. It's too much pain. Bitter. You try to fight it, but every step forward feels like dragging a mountain. And when you fall, because you do fall, It feels like the world watches, judging. The shame becomes a second shadow, heavier than the first. She paused, looking back at her father, hesitantly. "This is what it feels like," he said. You start to ask yourself, is this all there is? Is this struggle my entire story? The silence answers back. It's deafening. It's cruel. It tells you that you're alone, that no one understands. Follow sensations through. But here's the truth. This pain you're carrying isn't a sign of weakness. It's proof that you're still fighting. You're bruised, battered, but you're not broken. Every tear, every sleepless night, every scream into the void, it's shaping something inside you. Because in this pain lies a choice, a chance to surrender or to rise. And while surrender feels easier, you know, deep down, it won't bring peace. The only way out is through. Yes, it's lonely. Yes, it hurts. But this struggle is the storm before the calm, the fire that forges steel. What you feel right now, it's transformation in disguise. But what if I told you that this struggle, this darkness, isn't your enemy? What if, instead, it's the fire shaping you into something unbreakable? Think about a diamond. It starts as nothing more than a piece of coal, buried deep within the earth, alone, forgotten, under immense pressure. It begins to change. It cracks, it breaks, but it doesn't shatter, it transforms. What once was ordinary becomes extraordinary, not despite the pressure, but because of it. Right now you're in that fire, and it's not here to destroy you. It's here to refine you. Every scar, every sleepless night, every tear you've cried, it's proof of your strength. Proof that you're still here, still fighting. You may not see it yet, but there's a light on the horizon. It's faint, like a flicker in the distance, but it's there. It always has been. A slight quiver struck. Think about the moments when you felt even a glimmer of hope. Maybe it was a kind word from a stranger, a memory of a time when you laughed freely, without the weight of the world on your shoulders. Or maybe it was just the quiet realization that you've survived every worst day so far. Try and think of it. Let the weight of your mind gather. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of your transformation. The cracks you see in yourself, they're not flaws. They're openings for light to get in. You're not meant to stay in the dark. You're meant to rise, to climb, to break through the soil and reach the sun. The journey won't be easy, but the seed doesn't stop pushing just because the dirt is heavy. It keeps going. So can you. This is your turning point. It doesn't look like victory yet, but victory always starts here, in the decision to keep moving. And then it happens, subtle at first, like the faintest breath of wind in a suffocating storm. You realize something. It's not the world holding you back. It's not the failures, the heartbreak, or even the fear. It's the chains you've wrapped around your own soul. The belief that you're not enough. The lie that you're powerless. But now, for the first time, you feel the smallest crack in those chains, a single thought creeps in. What if I can break free? And then another, and then another. It's terrifying. Change always is. But deep inside, a voice rises. A voice you haven't heard in years, maybe ever. It whispers, what if this pain has a purpose? What if it's making you stronger? What if you're capable of more than you've ever imagined? And in that moment you start to see it. The mistakes, the failures, the rejections. They're not walls, they're stepping stones. The dirt beneath your feet is not your grave. It's the soil where you'll grow. You look in the mirror, and for the first time, you don't see defeat. You see potential. You see fire. The spark ignites. The chains loosen. And though you're still surrounded by shadows, you now know they're not endless. The horizon is closer than you thought. This is your awakening. The moment you stop surviving and start fighting. It won't be easy, but nothing worth having ever is. The fire is still burning, but now it's burning in you. You've been beaten down, bruised, and left in the dark, but now you stand, not because the world has made it easier, but because you've decided to rise. The world needs you, and you're aware of this fact surely. I mean, who's to say it doesn't crave you the way the mind craves? That spark inside you, it's growing. It's no longer a flicker. It's a flame. You feel it coursing through your veins, igniting every corner of your being. This is your moment to reclaim your power, to look at the obstacles before you and say, I am stronger than this. Fear will try to stop you. It will scream in your ear, stay where it's safe, don't take the risk. But here's the truth, safety is an illusion. Growth doesn't live in comfort zones. It lives on the edge, where you're uncertain, where you're scared, where every step feels like it might break you. But you won't break, because you're not fragile, you're forged. Remember those who doubted you, the ones who said you couldn't, who laughed at your dreams, who wrote you off? They don't define you. You define you. And those scars you carry? They're not signs of weakness. They're proof of survival. They're your battle marks. Your story written in the language of resilience. So, stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The only moment you have is now. Take the first step. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be forward. Speak up. Stand tall. Push back. Whatever it takes. Keep moving. You are more than your failures. More than your pain. More than the sum of everything that's ever tried to break you. You are potential. You are fire. You are unstoppable. This is the beginning of your ascent. The ground beneath you may shake, but it won't crumble. The path may be steep, but you'll climb it. Because this journey isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. The power to change your life isn't out there somewhere. It's been inside you all along. Now, it's time to use it. And then something shifts. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but it's powerful. Another pause. The doubt, the fear, the hesitation, they begin to dissolve. You realize something tall. You've realized something incredible. You've been holding yourself back all along. The didn't break you. They begin to dissolve. The fear still whispers, but now it sounds distant. You're not afraid anymore. You've seen the truth. You're stronger than you ever believed. And in this moment, you decide to stop waiting. No more sitting on the sidelines. No more letting the world dictate your worth. This is a chance for you, the silent sisters. Now time to use the power. You grab life by the horns. You push through the doors that once seemed closed. You take chances, knowing that every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. Ups the author. You might stumble, you might fall, but this time you'll get up. And each time you rise, you'll be stronger than before. You know that now. The transformation isn't instantaneous. It never is. But every day you're shedding the old version of yourself. You're evolving, growing, and becoming the person you were always meant to be. And here's the thing, you didn't wait for some miracle. You didn't sit around hoping things would get better. You took the reins. You made it happen. The world still might not be perfect. The journey ahead is still uncertain. But that doesn't matter anymore. Because now you've got something far more powerful than any obstacle. Belief in yourself. You've crossed the line between survivor and warrior. And the warrior within you, she/he/they, is unstoppable. You've made it. Not in the way you imagined. Not without scars or struggles. But you've made it. Looking back, it's hard to recognize the person you once were, the one who doubted herself, the one who was consumed by fear, the one who thought she/he/they couldn't handle it. That person is gone, replaced by someone who's learned how to stand tall, even when the weight of the world seems unbearable. The journey wasn't easy, and it never promised to be. But now, the scars aren't marks of weakness. They're signs of strength. Each one tells a story of resilience, of pushing through, even when everything inside you begged you to stop. This is how you win. And when you look ahead, you see potential, not problems. You see possibilities, not limitations. The world is still uncertain, but it's not a place to fear anymore. It's a place to conquer. You've climbed, you've fought, you've transformed, and now you stand on the other side, victorious, but still hungry for more. Because this is just the beginning. So notice how this begins, victorious, but eventually you do find the right path. You've proven that growth isn't comfortable, but it's always worth it. You are living proof that no matter how dark it gets, there's always light waiting for you on the other side. Now, the choice is yours. You've seen the power within you. You've felt the fire ignite, and you know that this is only the beginning. But what will you do next? You can stay in the comfort of what's familiar, in the fear of what might happen. Or you can take that first step toward something greater. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It's never going to come. The only time you have is now. It's time to break free from the chains of doubt. It's time to rise above the noise, the negativity, and the past. The future is yours for the taking, but only if you decide to reach for it. Everyone wants to be happy, but you are like a child. Suck it up. So, what are you waiting for? The change you seek starts with you. You have the power to turn your story into one of triumph. Take the first step, face the fear, and never look back. Because the world is waiting for the version of you that's ready to conquer. This is your moment. Don't let it slip away. Step into the fire and watch yourself rise.